Good evening. This is the Tradesight Forex roadmap and index analysis for the week beginning Sunday, April 7th and ending on Friday, April 12th. Hope you're having a good week behind us here. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart on the right side of your screen. Sort of rolled over late in the week, a little bit of spiking around on some of the economic news and what they did in Japan to float their currency a little more. So we've got a downside roll here, but we never got a seeker sell signal. We only got 10 bars into that count out of what would have been a better look at 13. Coming back right now, the static trend line below is way back here at 80, but there's going to be a lot of support in this area here of 81.5. And again, that we're still, I would say the construction is such that we could still get up and get that 11, 12, and 13th bar, get a signal. That would be better. You have to also notice that this is still part of a broader cup formation, which is pretty nice on the index. So not to complain about. Unfortunately, the last few weeks the ranges have narrowed up just a bit. Not as bad as last year, but just not what we were seeing in February either. Let's take a look at the euro and the daily chart here. You can see again we've got to about 10 bars down on the seeker signal that we were looking for. If I switch it though to the Comer, remember last week we were talking about the fact that we did get that 13 buy signal. And we're working right off of that. So even though the seeker didn't get there, the Comer did. And so far holding that turning point in the market. Let's take a look at the pound. And the daily chart of the pound here. A little bit different, nothing to work off of from any of our signals perspective. Do have a 9-bar up move from here, which has left this static trend line below. Got the static trend line up here from the last big move down. No other counts going on to be aware of. And there's no real patterns. There's some resistance here at this 1.5400 level that we're approaching. By the way, I'm going to show you the euro one more time and that cosmically important number we talk about, the 1.2939. And what you'll see, so here's the chart, and this blue line here is 1.2939. And you know, look how it comes down to it, and hits it again here, and plays off it for a day on both sides, and then we get this big gap, and it plays all over that area for 3 days in a row. Finally comes back up. Doesn't quite fill the gap. You'll have to remember that point up around 1.3075. Back down through it, and then look at this target right to the 29.39. This is like the glue number, the magic glue number that exists right now on the euro dollar, the biggest number that the market cares about there. And this also is 60-minute bars, so this shows you kind of going back a couple of weeks, a few weeks really, the way I've got this zoomed in right now. And you can see that, you know, yeah, we've had a drift, but we've only had, you know, inside of any one of these weeks, most of the ranges have been narrow, less than 300 pips, 200 pips in some cases. That's not exactly a huge range for consistency in the year. And just real quick, point out, this is the much broader, this is like 2 years plus on the chart of the euro on the daily, and you can just see where we've been over the last couple of years. You know, it's moves like these that we really like, and this big one up and this big one down. It's not this flat stuff so much, so hopefully we'll get some more of that coming soon. But in terms of any major signals, chart patterns, I'm not seeing anything right here that would indicate much. Let's take a look at the economic data that's coming out globally this week. And we will start with Sunday night. Got nothing major. Current account out of Japan. Monday, Sentex investor confidence or sentiment number. Sentex investor confidence out of Europe. German industrial production. This is in the early hours Monday here in the U.S. These are all Eastern Standard Time. Retail sales out of the U.K. Bernanke speaking at 7:15 p.m. Monday night. There's no U.S. data Monday morning. Monetary policy meeting minutes from the last meeting out of Japan. NAB business conference out of Australia. China's CPI and PPI Monday night. Tuesday, new loans and money supply out of China. Unemployment rate out of Switzerland. German trade balance out of France as well. CPI and retail sales out of Switzerland. The UK's got trade balance, industrial production, manufacturing production, 10-year bond auction there. Housing starts and building permits out of Canada. Again, no major U.S. data at all. Wholesale inventories at 10 a.m. That's nothing. Bank lending out of Japan on Tuesday night. This gets us all the way really to Wednesday. Trade balance out of China. French industrial production, Italian industrial production. We've got the crude oil data, our 10-year bond auction, Fed minutes from the last meeting, budget balance data at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. So up to this point, really nothing critical here out of the U.S. anyways. I would say the trade balance stuff in the U.K. is probably the most important number that we saw on Tuesday. Core machinery orders, CGPI, and money stock data out of Japan. Inflation expectations, unemployment rate, and employment change out of Australia. Gets us all the way to Thursday already, where we got the French CPI, the German CPI, ECB monthly bulletin out of Europe. U.S. we've got the usual unemployment claims data that's weekly, import prices, natural gas, 30-year bond auction, FPI out of New Zealand Thursday night, and then we've got tertiary industry activity out of Japan. That sounds important, but it's not. German WPI out of Europe, industrial production out of Europe. U.S. finally get hit with core retail sales PPI Friday morning. Even that's not that important. The University of Michigan consumer sentiment number. Bernanke speaking again late in the day on Friday. So this is a week with not a single bit. And remember, we had unemployment rate here in the U.S. and trade balance on Friday. So those are two of the big three every month. We've had a Fed meeting recently. So the only thing left for this month would be the CPI, which is going to be next week if the PPI is this week. Other than that, just stay focused on trading. Don't have anything to dodge. We should be full size all week this week then, and wide open. Have a great trading week. We hope to see you in the tradesight.com trading lab so we can talk about the markets all day long.